This is the Ordinary Business Podcast for business owners who want honest conversations, a lean business, and an extraordinary life on their own terms. Sarah, what was your weirdest pregnancy craving?
All right, my weirdest pregnancy craving was probably soda. And I know that's not like a weird thing inherently, but I had not had soda in probably like a decade.
Oh,
But yeah. But when I was pregnant, I was like, give me a crispy Coke, give me Dr. Pepper. And I
you're
was
like,
like, that's so
yes.
strange because I haven't even thought about soda for like over 10 years.
So we are chatting today about how you kind of juggled IVF and still running your business. And so first of all, thank you for just sharing part of your story because I know this is really personal and it's also not
Yeah.
something that a lot of people talk about. So I'm really grateful for you coming on here and sharing. But before we get into that, can you introduce yourself and tell us about what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Sarah, or On Brand by Sarah on the social media streets, and I am a content and marketing strategist, and I specialize in TikTok marketing. And I also have a personal brand leg of my business that I started at the very beginning of my IVF journey that I have now monetized. So not only do I have my service-based business, which is like primarily what we'll talk about today, but I also have my personal brand, which I have monetized by doing like TikTok shop and brand deals and things like that. So that is kind of what I do in a nutshell.
Nice. This is not what we're talking about today, but I'm just curious,
Yeah.
with the personal brand, did you start it for fun or was the goal to monetize it?
Oh, I just started it for fun. I started it at the very beginning of our trying to conceive journey because I was just very lonely in what I
Mm-hmm.
was going through. And I grew the most engaged, bought into me community, which thinking back, it's of course, because you're sharing very, very vulnerable parts of yourself and things that a lot of people are afraid to say out loud. And then it kind of just in the past year evolved into brands reaching out and being able to monetize through things like TikTok shop. But I just started it for pure connection and fun, and it
Yeah.
has morphed into another stream of revenue for my
Yeah.
family, which I could not be more grateful for.
Yeah. That's so cool. Okay. So we are getting into, again, IVF, dealing with chronic illness, juggling a business, which we have talked about a few times on the podcast in different capacities. And so we know that it's another layer of complexity as a business owner.
Yes.
So the first thing I just want to dive into is on a practical level, like, can you tell us what it looked like balancing that because there's lots of appointments and things to juggle. And so with client work and energy and client timelines and stuff, did you have to change things? Did you have to scale back during this period? What did it look like?
So it's interesting. I am a chronic illness girly first and foremost. So I have chronic migraines and fibromyalgia. And so when I was growing my business, I did so really intentionally. I used to be a speech therapist in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And then I transitioned to this career. And so I made a lot of what I do asynchronous because of my chronic illnesses, because I never know when I'm going to have a fibro flare. I never know when I'm going to have a migraine that requires me to wear my Scuba Steve ice pack mask and I can't get on a live call. And so a lot of what I did already was asynchronous, but I do definitely have live parts of my business. I offer strategy calls for my ongoing 3-month plus clients. We have monthly meetings. And so I definitely did have live aspects that my existing clients already knew that if she has to cancel, she has to cancel. And it's just, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to be able to serve you well if I am in the middle of a
Dealing with that.
migraine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I will say I didn't I did not really open up to my clients that I was going through IVF. I transparently was afraid that they would not want to work with me if they knew that I was going through something so heavy and time consuming behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And I think for so many people that are going through fertility treatments or any kind of like medical,
Yeah.
scenario that requires you to go to like I was in the clinic like almost every day during treatment cycles for blood work and ultrasound, and like it's just like not only emotionally heavy but like time consuming heavy. So I really didn't open up to any of my clients that I was going through it. I honestly just I really use business as a very, very welcome distraction. The moment I realized that I could really lean into duality, that just because my personal life was going through some ish does not mean my business needs to follow suit. And
Mm.
really leaning into the fact that they can be totally different. And it doesn't mean that I need to like not honor one over the other, but like really leaning into the duality that like just because personally I'm going through some stuff doesn't mean that my business can't be like thriving and fun and like providing for me. And so, yeah, that's kind of like how I handled that initial balance.
Yeah. I completely understand because I actually early in my pregnancy, now this has been like 5 years ago, but I was on a call with somebody. I think I said something or about being pregnant. I don't know. And the person was like, "Yeah, like I remember when our CEO was pregnant, like we noticed a decrease in inquiries because they thought like people I think kind of thought like, oh, well, she might not come back or she might be too distracted or something." And I'm like, have we learned nothing about moms being able to juggle? Where's all the memes and posts about moms being superheroes and juggling like 12 different
Yes.
things?
I have literally become more productive since
Yeah.
becoming a mom because I have to use my time so intentionally. And so, like, you best believe I'm gonna get to editing your email sequence during this nap because I don't know when I'm gonna be able to do it again.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So I don't blame you for keeping that kind of a secret. Did you keep it, like, from clients, like, the entire time until you announced your pregnancy, or was it just, like, initially you kept it from them?
It was a mix.
Mhm.
Again, totally transparent, and this was just like my stories that I was telling
Yeah.
myself. Like there were some clients that I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna react and I don't know what they'll think. And so I did keep it from them until I announced my pregnancy at like
Yeah.
18 weeks. But there were some clients that their call came up and I was like, hey, I'm having an egg retrieval today, so I can't make our call.
Yeah.
And like they were so lovely and accepting. And like, listen, probably all of my clients would have been lovely and accepting, but this was just again like my fear around things and so I kind of like cherry picked who I told when. Yeah, there were definitely some people who knew when it was when it was going to impact them, like if they had a call or something was coming up. And then some of them I messaged them like right before I posted my pregnancy announcement on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like after a really long IVF journey, like baby Mia is going to be joining us in October." And they were so happy for me, and nobody was like, "All right, I'm not working with you anymore."
Canceled.
No, literally. For me, it was definitely daunting because I was like, "Is this gonna impact my livelihood?"
Mm.
And again, I know I'm not the only one with that thought,
No. Mm-mm.
but I was just so scared that opening up about that to my clients would, like majorly shift things in my
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. I mean, the gal who told me like, "Oh, yeah, like, we noticed a decrease," or, like, she had mentioned, something that stuck in my brain.
Mhm.
I basically, like, stopped talking about my pregnancy on
Yep.
social, like, on my business social, because I was like
Mhm.
and I even with kind of not talking about it, I did notice a decrease in inquiries. Like I did still get like booked out and still had like projects scheduled for like right after maternity leave. So in the end, it all worked out. And who's to say it might have been the economy, it might have been the year, like, like who knows? Because this was in 2021. So we were like coming off of COVID and everything. But in
Yeah.
my head, I was like, I feel like I can't talk about my pregnancy or being a mom. Like people are afraid I'm not going to come back or I'm just going to like close up shop. Mindy Hubner is a subconscious success alchemist behind 24 Karat Identity. She helps high achieving women get out of their own way mentally and emotionally so success finally feels like freedom. And her free quiz, the Subconscious CEO Reset, is more than insight. It's a nervous system recalibration. You'll uncover the subconscious patterns shaping how you lead and experience a guided 24-karat audio ritual that brings you back to calm, trust, and your true power.
I totally resonate with that. And like for me, I will say like my inquiries went down so much because I was so sick my whole first trimester.
Mm-hmm.
And part of my IVF protocol involved taking Benadryl 3 times a day.
Oh.
So on top of being like first trimester tired, I also had
Had been a
3
drill going through your
3
veins.
doses of Benadryl. So my priorities were like, I need to pour into my paying clients, and then I
Mm-hmm.
need to like go to bed because I can't keep my eyes open. And so I wasn't marketing myself. I was like, I don't even know what I would do if I had another client right now. Like I can barely stay awake. But yeah, that was and my clients were so taken care of, and like truly they did not know until I told them.
Mm-hmm.
Um but yeah, and I think another thing that people don't talk about is like it's so normal to have like those ebbs and flows and dips when you're going through a humongous life change like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely normal. And what I had to just keep telling myself is like, you literally grew this business from scratch out of thin air. You have a master's degree in speech pathology and you have grown an entire marketing business. They have nothing to do with each other. You will be fine.
Yes.
You will be absolutely fine. When you can open your eyes again after you stop taking the Benadryl, you will be fine. And lo
Yes.
and behold, we are fine.
We are fine. Okay. Sometimes we need the pep talk in the mirror, and you literally
Yeah.
just keep saying, you will be fine. It will work
Yes.
out. Most of your offers are kind of async. You mentioned that, like, because you already had that kind of structure. Did you move around any like call days?
Yeah. So this is another part of like having the chronic illness setting me up for success while going through IVF and being pregnant is like I never, ever, ever take calls on Mondays or Fridays. So those were like off the table. Those are my days to do my business because, side note, I am very much in the belief that like I need to also treat myself like a client. And so Mondays and Fridays are like absolute no-goes. So I condense my calls to Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I
Mm,
don't think I took a call before like 11 a.m.
mm, yeah.
And if I needed to move it around, I moved it around. But like most of my support for clients happens inside of Telegram, which is like a walkie-talkie app for people listening that don't know. Um, so I didn't have to do like a ton of restructuring.
What about like client timelines? Because with
Mm,
content, you're writing email sequences or whatever. Like, did you kind of like, hey, we're going to adjust and now it's going to take 3 weeks instead of 1 or 2? Or were you able to stick to that? Or how did you kind of deal with those things?
yeah. I was able to stick to them, but it was difficult. So, like, just a little behind the scenes of my business. And again, I'm sure people have clients like this as well. So I have one client, and she's actually my former grad school professor.
Oh,
And I'll
fun.
do anything for her. Okay? I'll do anything for her. The things that I do for her, I do not outwardly ever market, and it's asynchronous. So, like, I need to write an email sequence for you. Laptop is coming in the bed and I'm going to be vertical.
Mm-hmm.
I need to, like, we're going to write some content or do some like story slide sequences for your membership launch. Cool. Phone is coming in the bed and I'm going to be vertical. Um, and to me, like, I think some people can interpret that as like, oh my God, like your boundaries, terrible. Oh, goodness. Okay. You okay? It's a full circle moment because I'm holding my
Mm-hmm.
IVF baby as we're
Yes.
recording this. So
I'm
it's
just
very,
sitting
very
here
special.
watching the baby while Sarah talks.
Yeah. I literally can't believe I'm staring into this podcast video and holding a baby. So that's kind of wild. But I don't look at that as bad boundaries. I look at that as like you're adjusting and making your business work for a certain season of
Yeah.
life. And like that season will pass. And then you always, like, it's your rodeo. You're the business owner.
Mm-hmm.
You always have permission to reevaluate, readjust. What are our new boundaries?
If I'm being really honest, I know pre-daughter being in the picture, I was very big on like boundaries. You shouldn't work on the weekends. You shouldn't work in the evenings. Like you need, and while I mostly still like, yes, you need a break and like give yourself margin and like free time. Like,
Mhm.
please don't work 80 hours a week. I've said this in a few other episodes, but I'm like, I think some of us, especially me, I'm preaching to the choir, forgot that like we talk about all this flexibility as business owners, and I'm like, yes, it used to be like, oh well, I can just like go on a 3-day trip and I can just go to lunch with a friend, and while yes, I can still do that, I now as a parent look at flexibility as like, okay, so I can pick my daughter up from school and take her to gymnastics, and I might need to work for an hour after bedtime.
1,000%. Like, let me tell you something I'm so excited about. I'm so excited to work this weekend. So I'm launching a new TikTok program and I have to like upload the course material.
Mhm.
And I'm going to do that over the weekend while my husband is home. And I'm so excited to do that because it's completely uninterrupted Sarah time. No clients are expecting me to answer. Mia is going to be happy and playing with her daddy. And I am going to be able to like be in the zone for hours. Like I'm so excited for it.
Mhm.
Who cares that I can't do that on a Tuesday? I
Right.
don't care. I can do this on a Tuesday. I could feed my baby while I'm on a podcast. Like how cool is that?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think it's just like looking at like what serves you in this current season and always allowing yourself to reevaluate and readjust.
Okay, is there anything that like you just kind of added into your workflow, into your business, I don't, like automations or something, like either during IVF or during pregnancy that you're like, this was a game changer?
Yes. And I think I don't know if I started this at the beginning of my IVF journey, but for me, it was like, how can I take all of these incredible people that I'm serving in a one-off capacity and work with them longer, right? More recurring revenue, more support for implementation for them. And so I do a lot of like one-off, 1-hour strategy calls, like intensives with people that really just like want a roadmap for their content and marketing. Like, how am I making things work backwards for my offers so that like that is the answer for people? And so what I started doing is I have like an email template that I send everybody after they do a strategy call. And if I think they're a right fit, I have a blurb at the end that allows them to apply their strategy call investment to a 3-month like consulting package with
Hmm.
me. And I send it
Mhm.
to everybody. That way it's like I don't have this mindset BS of like, what do I say? What do I write? What do I if I think they're a good fit, they get that blurb at the end. It's already written, it's there, it's done. And it really helped to get a lot of recurring revenue into my business. It helped me support clients on a deeper level. It allowed me to take on less of those live commitments because then I was helping those people asynchronously behind the scenes. And so that was like a game changer to just add into my business. And it was so simple. and it's so supportive to my people.
Mhm.
And it's so supportive to me because, again, I don't have to, what am I gonna say? What
Yeah,
do we say? It's done, it's written, and so that was, like, the biggest game changer that I implemented.
I like it. So simple, and anything we can do to serve our previous or, like, already existing clients, that is a major win. Okay, last question. What advice do you have for any other business owners who are thinking of going through IVF? Maybe they're in the middle of it and they're like having some of those same kind of fears and thoughts that you had.
Yeah. Well, my first one is lean on community. The TikTok IVF community is incredible. Even if you don't post content, there are people that connected with me just through the comments, and I've like gone to lunch with them, and like our
Oh,
babies are gonna get together, and like you need community because there's truly nobody that understands the weight and the nuance and the load of IVF, even if you have the most supportive family and friends, than the IVF community and people that are actually going through it. And then business wise, like I said, lean into duality and allow your business to thrive and be fun and be almost like a place of reprieve because again, just because your personal life is like really going through some ish, it does not need to affect your business. It does
mhm,
not need to affect your business at all. And like, I really use it as such a welcome, lovely distraction. And again, like, just way to provide for myself and my family. So duality is
mhm.
is my next piece of advice.
I love it. So smart. Thank you so much for sharing and
Yeah,
letting me stare at Mia while we talk.
of course.
Where can we connect with you online and learn more about what you do?
Yeah, so the best place to find me is on TikTok or Instagram at On Brand by Sarah. I'm also all up and around the Threads streets at On Brand by Sarah. My DMs are always open. I love a good voice message. So, especially if you're going through this journey, like, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Yes. Awesome. Well, I will put that in the show notes so y'all can go check out Sarah, but thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.